Good morning, sir.
Good morning. So, good morning, and let's get going because today I have to wind up by 10. I have to be somewhere else, official work. Just in case you're thinking that I'm playing hooky and not doing my job, uh, I have to be elsewhere on purely official work by 10:30, and so I have to close this class by 10 o'clock, which means that we'll get going immediately. Uh, a couple of things. I've been making a lot of spelling errors, and when I go back and take a look, it's very embarrassing. The Peloponnesian War, I have spelled it wrong. It should be this is oh, even I can't get wrong right. This is the wrong spelling. The correct spelling should be okay. That is the correct spelling. Peloponnesian War with double N and not double P. This is the spelling I gave you. And I don't know what had happened. I had some kind of a mental block while typing out Ludwig Wittgenstein again. This spelling I typed. I knew while I was typing, but I had a block. I wasn't getting the correct spelling for some strange reason. So I just decided to leave it be. I did say that that is the wrong spelling. This is the correct spelling. Okay. So please ignore the wrong spelling rather. Okay. Um, I don't know, typing and thinking apparently don't go together. You don't make mistakes while you write, but you make mistakes while you type, and that's one of the reasons why I don't like typing. Uh, so let's get to Plato. And I told you that we will start off his epistemology today. And if you have to understand his epistemology, then you have to understand, we have to begin our understanding of Plato with the realm of forms. And this is where the influence of Pythagoras is most pronounced here. Okay, I told you Pythagoras believed in souls. I hope you remember that. In the existence of what the souls, I don't know what I'm. Existence of souls. Please don't have that there. The problem with this is you can't even strike it out. So uh, he believed in the existence of souls, and this is something that is seen even in uh, Plato. Plato's definition is souls. Okay, Plato defines forms as souls. And if you remember, I had told you that this is very different from the Aristotelian definition of form. We have what is actually called a theory of form in Aristotle. Uh, and no. Uh, so so Plato's definition of forms is souls. So what is the realm of the forms? Okay, now Plato, like Pythagoras, believed in life after death. Okay, he believed in life after death, and for him, uh, life after death essentially means that the souls, which are what he calls the forms, uh, they are not wandering around freely. Okay, if you take the sorry, if you take the case of ancient India, you believe that the soul after death goes through all parts of the universe. Okay, it it travels through all parts of the universe. But Plato didn't have that. Unlike the Indians, the ancient Indians, and even the present day Indians, I guess, apart from the atheists, sorry about that. Um Apart from the atheists, people do believe in souls, and they do believe that the soul actually travels through the universe. Okay, between death and taking on a new life, that is being born again, it travels through different parts of the universe, and it travels for as many years as it is required till it can find a birth that is suitable with its karma. Okay, it's not like you are born and I mean you die, the soul goes and enters into a new body. No, that isn't how it is. It is that until such time that you find an environment which is suitable for your karma or the karma of that particular soul, that soul will be wandering. Okay, and in fact, the ancients did believe that in this wanderings it also learns lessons. Now, that's a bit of a commonality between Plato's forms and the Indian idea of souls. But that's about it. That the soul, in its form as a soul, also learns a few things, is what the Indians say. Plato says much more than that. He says it learns a lot of things. Whatever it learns as a soul, not as a something that is there in a human body. But the difference is that for him, only the human beings have souls, unlike for the Indians, where everything is life and everything has a soul. And he believes that the souls don't wander around. Okay, they don't wander around. They, after death, they go to the realm of, it's almost like a fairy tale, something like Enid Blyton would write. Uh, it's almost like that, where he says that the souls go to the realm meant for them. Realm is a certain area. Okay, so the souls go to this realm, and in this realm only the souls are there, and the souls are capable of interaction. They are capable of interaction, and as souls they interact with each other, and it is in this process of interaction amongst themselves, they become, they gain knowledge. Okay, so knowledge for Plato is not gained in this world, not tabula rasa like Akshay Punit. has said yesterday. Okay, it isn't uh, gaining knowledge in this world through your senses, through the five senses. No, knowledge is gained in the realm of the souls, which is where there is a give and take between different souls, and it is in that process that they gain knowledge. And when they are born, reborn, when a soul or a form it is born with okay. Now in the ancient Indian system, we have a system called Nirvana. The system that we call Nirvana basically tells us that, you know, uh, a soul can break the cycle of life and death. Okay. And if you are an Advaita or a Visishta Advaita thinker, then you will say it will become a part of the Brahman. But if you are a Dvaita philosopher or somebody who subscribes to the Dvaita philosophy, you'll say that the Jivatman will exist as a Jivatman, but without the encumbrances of life, without the problems that come with life. Okay, so there is a possibility to put an end to this vicious cycle of life, death, and life. It keeps going on and on, but it can be put to an end. You don't find any nirvana like concept in nirvana is also called moksha. Okay, so you don't find that kind of a concept in Plato. What you do find is that souls are born again and again. Okay, and the knowledge that should be in a life is a sum total of various things that the form or the soul has picked up in between many deaths and many births. So it's not just one birth. Okay, it's not just one birth. You're born, okay, and therefore you'll say um, whatever this soul knows is what it picked up before it was born in the realm of the, I mean, whatever this mind knows is something that the form or the soul picked up in the realm of the souls just before being born. It isn't that. Let's say it's died 10 times. It's been to the realm of souls 10 times and it is born an 11th time. So the knowledge that it has will be a sum total of all the 10 visits it has made to the realm of the soul forms. That is what you will find in Plato. And this is a very, very direct influence of Pythagoras. So we are actually looking at a situation in which we find Plato saying that people can be born with wisdom. Okay, so people can be born with wisdom. While they are born, they are already wise. That is what Plato says, right? But while he's saying these things, Plato is also somebody who is uh, talking about how life should be organized on earth and what is true knowledge. Okay, for Plato, the world of objects represents an imperfection. It represents an imperfection in the sense that he says you see movement in the world. And here we are coming to the influence of Parmenides. Okay, he says we are seeing this world as it exists, and this world is full of imperfections. Okay, the world of objects, as he calls it, and he juxtaposes that to the realm of souls, right? So how do you know that it is something that is full of imperfections? And Plato's answer for that is anything perfect does not move because it does not need to move. That which is perfect cannot be improved upon, right? That is what you have to remember. That
Here,
which is
move means change, or is it?
change, movement, anything,
Sir,
even this movement. Mm, yeah,
Heraclitus said that the world is at flux,
yes, he did.
but not Parmenides.
Parmenides didn't believe that.
He said that he was influenced by Parmenides,
Plato was influenced by Parmenides.
but he was contrasting with Parmenides, isn't it?
See, he is influenced. He's not replicating. Parmenides as it is. Okay? He's not
Okay.
telling you what Parmenides said. For Parmenides, all movement is only illusory. There is no movement at all. Okay? And he also believed in timelessness. Parmenides also believed in timelessness. Plato is influenced by that, but he is not replicating the philosophy of Parmenides. Neither is he replicating the philosophy of Pythagoras. These are influences that you see in him. And as I go forward, you will understand why this is an influence from Parmenides but isn't Parmenides. Okay? Just give me 2 minutes, you'll get to know it. You'll get to see it for yourself. All right?
Yes.
Now, so for him, anything that is perfect, it really doesn't need to move. Okay. And from here on, he moves on to this idea. Oh God, what did I? This is a problem with this. Okay, anything perfect does not need to move. Okay, because it's perfect. Why will you change something which is already perfect? You will not change something which is perfect. So, when we say it does not move in order to change, or it does not change. You can substitute the word move with change. Anything perfect will not change. If you want, use that. Okay. Now, the world of objects, that is the world in which we live, is something that sees movement. Okay. That sees movement because it is imperfect. So that's what Plato is saying. Okay. The world in which we live, there is movement in it. He's not denying that there, unlike Parmenides, who says all movement is illusory, Plato is not saying all movement is illusory. He's not. He is saying that there is movement. And this movement is in the world of objects in which we live. So, since the world, now we come to the next proposition. Since the world in which we live is an imperfect world, knowledge of it is also imperfect. Any knowledge that is gained out of studying the world of objects, any knowledge that is gained out of studying the world of objects is not a perfect knowledge, because that knowledge is also imperfect. Okay, then the question is, what kind of knowledge is acceptable to Plato? The only form of knowledge, my God, the only form of knowledge that is, uh, that is acceptable to Plato is knowledge which is there in the mind of a person, and this exists as an idea. Okay, so knowledge which is acceptable to him is that which is there in the mind of the person, not out there, not empirical. Okay, you have talked about this word empirical. Empirical basically means things that are outside of our this thing, and trying to understand those things. That is empiricism. In the philosophical sense, it has undergone many different mutations as a, it's like our COVID virus. In terms of meanings, empiricism has undergone quite a few mutations. We'll discuss a few of the important ones as we go along with the course. Okay, but empirical knowledge for him is not acceptable because empirical knowledge does not deal with perfection. For him, that which is acceptable as knowledge is that which is there from the time of birth, innate knowledge. Innate knowledge that exists in the mind as ideas. Okay, so for him, empirical knowledge, if you say empirical knowledge is flawed, then what exactly is he saying about ideas? He is basically trying to tell you the construct that he's giving us is that the ideal is the real. Okay, I have told you that thanks to the world wars and what happened after that in international relations, we have a tendency to look at the ideal as the opposite of the real. And not only that, we also look at the ideal as something unattainable, okay, something that we cannot reach. You'll say, ideally, we should be doing it, but we can't because there are so many constraints. Plato is not talking about that at all. For him, the ideal is the real, and this is derived from the existence of in the realm of forms. So, ideal knowledge is the idea. So, let me give you an example that he himself gives. Okay, he talks about the allegory of the cave. Have you heard of it before?
Yes, sir.
Hmm?
Yes, sir.
What is it? Quickly.
I can't.
Hmm?
I know, but I can't describe it, sir.
Okay. Okay. According to Plato, he's giving us an allegory. Allegory, you know what an allegory is?
Story.
No, no. It's some kind of a simile, a comparison. Okay. Or some kind of a, yeah, some kind of a simile, metaphor, all those. Uh, according to him, there are these cave dwellers who have never come out of the cave. Okay, they have never come out of the cave. What they see is when light comes into the cave through crevices, openings, and uh, the entrance when, oh, I didn't put light. When light comes into the cave through crevices, openings, and the entrance itself, it brings shadows of the objects that are outside of the cave. Okay, it brings in shadows of the objects that are outside of the cave. Now, let's imagine a few of these objects. Let us say trees are there outside the cave. There are boulders, boulders, boulders outside the cave. Okay, so what he, he says that He basically says that the objects, my mother has distracted me. Sorry, I get very easily distracted. Yeah, uh, the objects, they throw shadows into the cave because of the light. And people in the cave confuse the shadows of the objects for the real objects themselves. They see a shadow of a tree and think that is the tree. That is the real tree. Okay? They see the shadow of a big rock or a boulder and they think that it is the real rock. Okay? So, this for him is the confusion of the actual with the real. Okay? Through this, he's trying to tell you that you're confusing the actual for the real. So, what is the actual?
Idea.
Hmm?
Idea.
No, the actual is the distortion of the real and misleading. Okay? In ancient India, we have the concept of Maya. Maya, basically, what does it mean? People have said it means an illusion. Some people say it's magic. It's none of those things. Maya is the actual. Okay? Maya is the actual that makes you believe that you're seeing the real when you're actually not seeing the real. Okay? So, a similar thing is being said by Plato. Plato says the knowledge that people of the is distorted knowledge and it is therefore incorrect. Now you see the shadow of a tree, for example, if you're seeing, depending upon the light, the angle from which the light is falling, you will find that the tree sometimes looks longer than it actually is. Sometimes it looks shorter than it actually is. So that is a distortion. That is the actual. Okay, that is the actual thing. It's not the real. If the tree that exists is real, then its shadow is the actual. So similarly, the world of objects consists of the actuals and not of the reals. So real is only in the ideas. So let's consider two examples that uh, Plato himself gives. One example is he says, he asks this question, what or sorry, which is the perfect horse? Okay, he asks this question, which is the perfect horse? So if you look at a number of horses, or for a moment, even if we imaginarily say that we have been able to look at all the horses that exist in this world of objects, none of those horses is perfect. It's bound to have some defect somewhere. Okay? It's bound to have some little, at least some little problem somewhere. So, what is it that Plato is saying? Okay? What is it that he is saying? He's saying the empirical horse cannot be a perfect horse. Okay? So the question remains, which is the perfect horse? The perfect horse is the one that exists as an idea in our mind. That is the perfect horse, right? So the empirical horse is not a perfect horse at all. The flawless, the horse that has no faults, it is that which exists at the level of ideas. Okay, so the ideal horse, the ideal horse is the idea of the horse. Okay, that's how he defines ideal. The idea of the horse or the ideal horse. So let me put it that way. Mhm. That is what it says. The ideal horse is what you have in your mind, not the horses that you see. They are not ideal, and therefore they are not real. They are actual. Okay. And if you take another example, his influence of Pythagoras here again, that which comes, uh, I mean that this particular idea comes from Pythagoras and geometry. Okay. Plato talks about which is the ideal or perfect, what am I saying? Any number of circles that you draw, sorry, okay. So which is the perfect circle? You can draw any number of circles. None of those are perfect. What is perfect is that which exists at the level of the ideas. The ideal circle is the perfect circle, and therefore it is the knowledge of the ideal circle is real knowledge. Oh God. The knowledge of the ideal circle is real knowledge, not the circles that you draw. And therefore, we come back to this point. The ideal is the real. Why? What am I doing? Oh, come on. Okay. The knowledge of the ideal circle is real knowledge. So all knowledge is that of the unchanging and that which is about the perfect. Okay. So this is what he is trying to tell you. So not knowledge of things as you see them, that is not real knowledge. Okay, because this world is changing. If the world is changing, then you cannot have absolute knowledge. Okay, that is exactly the problem that Immanuel Kant faces, and finally says that this is an antinomy. He calls it an antinomy, or a problem that cannot be resolved. Okay, so what Plato is trying to tell you, this is where the Parmenides thing comes, that the ideal world is unchanging because of the fact that it is perfect, and therefore knowledge of that is what makes your knowledge valid knowledge. Any knowledge that has anything to do with things that are moving, is actual, is not perfect, and therefore it is not acceptable. Then the question comes, and I'm going to stop here today. And then the question comes, is this world always going to be imperfect? Is it always going to be imperfect? Are we having to live in this imperfection? That is the question. I'll answer it tomorrow. Okay? Because I need to get going somewhere. Phone calls are also coming. So thank you very much. And
Thank you, sir.
yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, sir.
Okay, bye bye.